SN1 and SN2 mechanisms. We have studied about nucleophilic substitution reactions. Nucleophilic substitution reactions. In that, two mechanisms we have studied. What are those? SN1 and SN2. What is SN1? Unimolecular nucleophilic substitution reaction. What is SN2? Bimolecular nucleophilic substitution reaction. Okay. Now let us try to understand the difference between SN1 and SN2. Relative comparison we will make here. But one point you should remember, if alkyl group is same, okay, then the reactivity order will be alkyl iodides are more reactive than alkyl bromide, than alkyl chloride, than alkyl fluoride. Whether it may be SN1 or whether it may be SN2, SN1 or SN2, in any reaction, the order of reactivity of alkyl halides when R remains same, means alkyl groups remain same, this is the order. Alkyl iodides are more reactive towards SN1 or SN2. Similarly, compared to bromides, compared to chlorides and fluorides. For example, methyl iodide is more reactive towards the nucleophilic substitution reaction compared to methyl bromide, then compared to methyl chloride, then compared to methyl fluoride. Okay. Now, if you think about the orders, once we have already, I said you, order of reactivity for different alkyl halides, how it will happen. If it is SN1 mechanism, you know that tertiary alkyl halides are more reactive than secondary alkyl halides, than primary alkyl halides, then methyl halide. If it is SN2, you know that methyl halides are more reactive than primary alkyl halides, than secondary alkyl halides, than tertiary alkyl halides. So this is the order of reactivity of methyl, primary, secondary, tertiary alkyl halides in SN1 and SN2. Now why we are saying like this? Why tertiary alkyl halides are more reactive in SN1? Okay? Why? Because tertiary alkyl halides, because SN1 mechanism takes place in two steps, right? By formation of carbocation, that you know, right? So if you look at the order of stability of carbocations, you know that tertiary carbocation is more stable than secondary carbocation, than primary carbocation, than methyl cation. That is the reason why tertiary alkyl halides are more reactive towards SN1 mechanism. So not only tertiary alkyl halides, any compound, any alkyl halide, if it can form stable carbocation, then its reactivity towards SN1 mechanism will be more. Towards SN1 reaction mechanism will be more. Now we will see two more examples. Okay. Now tertiary alkyl halides are more reactive towards SN1 because they form stable carbocation. Let us consider the case with benzyl halides and allyl halides, or benzylic and allylic halides. Now benzylic halides and allylic halides. What is benzylic halide? For example, I will draw the structure here. Benzene with one CH2 group and one X, right? Allylic means CH2 double bond CH2X. This is allylic, right? Now if I remove one halogen atom from here, you will get the respective cations, right? You will get the respective cations. For example, if I remove halogen from here, if I remove this, what I will get here? Benzene ring CH2 positive charge. If I remove halogen from here, I will get CH2 double bond CH2 plus, right or not? So this is benzylic cation, this benzyl cation, this is allyl cation, this is allyl cation. Now you know that benzyl cation and allyl cation both are stabilized, okay, by mesomeric effect or resonance effect, right? They are both are stabilized by mesomeric effect or resonance effect. Now I would like to include even these two halides in the reactivity order. So in SN1 mechanism, what will be the order of reactivity for benzyl and allyl means benzyl cation is much more stabilized due to more resonance compared to allyl cation. That's why the order of reactivity of alkyl halides is benzyl or benzylic halides are more reactive towards SN1 compared to allylic halides than compared to the normal order. What is the normal order? We have taken tertiary alkyl halides than compared to secondary alkyl halides compared to primary alkyl halides and methyl halides. So this is the order of reactivity in case of different alkyl halides towards SN1 mechanism. Then if I compare vinylic and aryl carbocations, if I compare vinyl and aryl halides, Vinyl means you know that it is CH2 double bond CHX. Vinyl halides means CH2 double bond CHX. And aryl halides means when the halogen atom is directly attached to the benzene ring, right? Directly attached to the benzene ring. Now, do you think vinyl and aryl halides are more reactive towards nucleophilic substitution or less reactive towards nucleophilic substitution? Okay, vinyl and aryl halides are less reactive towards nucleophilic substitution reactions. Why? Because in vinyl and aryl halides, what happens is the lone pairs which are present on the halogen atoms are involved in conjugation, or they are involved in mesomeric effect with the respective vinyl group or the benzene ring. Due to that, the CX bond acquires double bond character, double bond nature or double bond character. So this CX bond is a double bond in nature. There it is having double bond character. So relative to normal CX bond, double bonded CX, it is difficult to break. It is difficult to break. It is easy to break. It is difficult to break. Double bond character. This is single bond character. Single bond is easy to break. Means all the alkyl halides like primary alkyl, secondary alkyl, and allylic, benzylic, all they are having single bond character. But vinylic and arylic halides, they have double bonded character with the CX bond due to conjugation or resonance, you can say. That is why vinyl and aryl halides are less reactive. They are less reactive towards nucleophilic substitution reactions. Okay. Now we have seen different examples for SN1 and SN2 reactions. Now we will see difference between comparative study. We will make differences between SN1 and SN2 reactions. Okay. Now if you read it relatively, means comparatively, then it is easier to remember this concept. So let us see what are the comparisons we will get between SN1 and SN2 mechanism. Okay. SN1 and SN2 mechanism. Right. First thing, in SN1 we have seen that it follows first order. It follows first order kinetics. Right? Rate of the reaction depends on only one molecule, that is concentration of the alkyl halide. Whereas in SN2, the reaction follows, the mechanism follows second order kinetics. And the rate of the reaction dependent on two molecules, that is concentration of the alkyl halide as well as the nucleophile. Next, this reaction it is the order of reactivity will compare alkyl halides, that is tertiary alkyl halides are more reactive than secondary alkyl halides, than primary alkyl halides, than methyl halides. This is the order of reactivity in SN1. In SN2, what is the order of reactivity? Methyl halides are more reactive towards SN2 than primary alkyl halides, than secondary alkyl halides, than tertiary alkyl halides. So this is the reactivity order of the alkyl halides. And also we have seen in case of SN1, benzylic and allylic also more reactive. Now coming to the which type of nucleophiles, okay, will favor this kind of SN1 mechanism, and which type of nucleophiles will favor SN2 mechanism. If you compare like that, then now coming to the nucleophiles, generally SN2 is favorable with weak nucleophiles, like water or methyl alcohol, etc. SN2 mechanism is favorable, or it takes place with basically strong nucleophiles, like example cyanide ion or hydroxide ion, etc. And SN1 favorable in SN1 is favorable in, it is taking place two steps, it is cation, right? So it is favorable in polar protic solvents, and it takes place or it is favorable in polar aprotic solvents. Polar aprotic solvents means like you can take water or alcohol, etc. Polar aprotic means like acetone or DMSO, as you have seen, or DMF, etc. Okay, this is it. Now this is the difference between SN1 and SN2, what we are seeing. That is, SN1 follows first order kinetics, right? And its rate depends on only concentration of alkyl halide. SN2 follows second order kinetics, rate depends on both molecules, that is nucleophile as well as the alkyl halide. Here this is the rate of reactivity of different alkyl halides towards SN1, that is tertiary are more reactive. Here in this methyl halides are more reactive. And in this weak nucleophiles are favorable, or takes place with weak nucleophiles, here it is strong nucleophiles. It is favorable in polar protic and it is favorable in polar aprotic. And one more thing here is, racemization takes place. Racemization of, or racemic mixture is formed. Racemization takes place. That is, racemic mixture is formed. Racemic mixture is formed as product. Okay. Here inversion takes place. Here inversion of configuration inversion of configuration takes place. Okay, so this is difference between. Next topic is stereochemical aspects of nucleophilic substitution reactions. Now, what is stereochemical aspects? Stereochemical aspects means, as you have seen, in SN1 we are saying that racemic mixture is formed. In SN2 we are saying that inversion of products or inversion is taking place. To understand what is racemic mixture, to understand what is inversion, we need some basic knowledge of stereochemistry. In that, the first thing you need to understand is plane polarized light. Okay. Now, what is a plane polarized light? When an ordinary light is passed through nickel prism or Polaroid, you can say, what happens? The light electric field vibrates only in one field, only in one plane. Such type of light is called plane polarized light. You know that in ordinary light, vibrations are present in all possible directions, randomly in all possible directions. Okay, whereas in plane polarized light, the lights when you are passing through nickel prism, the light which is passed to that, it will contain the vibrations only in one plane, So such light is called as plane polarized light. Then what is optical activity? Okay, what is optical activity? We need to understand. If any compound is capable of rotating the plane polarized light, then such compounds is said to be optically active, and that phenomenon is called optical activity. Okay, so if a beam of plane polarized light is passed through any compound, any sample, so if the light gets deflected either towards right side or left side, or clockwise direction or anti-clockwise direction, then the compound is said to be optically active. And that phenomenon is called as optical activity. Okay, and in this, if the plane polarized light, I am writing the short form PPL, if plane polarized light is rotated by any compound, if it is rotates in clockwise direction or towards right side, then such compounds are called as dextrorotatory compounds. Dextrorotatory, it is indicated with small d, or it is also indicated with the plus sign. Okay, then similarly, if the plane polarized light is rotated in anti-clockwise direction or towards left side, then such compounds are called as levorotatory, or it is indicated with small l or minus. Okay, small l or minus sign. So next, now we understood what is plane polarized light, okay, and optical activity. Now we need to understand concept of chiral and achiral. Okay, chiral, or it is also called as asymmetric or asymmetric center, you can say asymmetric center, or stereogenic center. First we need to understand this chirality, chiral or asymmetric or stereogenic center. Now what is a chirality or chiral center? Means if any carbon atom is attached to 4 different groups, 4 different groups, then such type of carbon is called chiral carbon. Okay, now due to this chirality or due to this asymmetry, due to this stereogenic center or chiral center only, the products, the sum of the compounds, they can rotate the plane polarized light in left side direction or right-handed way or right-handed direction. So chirality is mainly responsible for optical activity. Okay, so chiral centers are responsible for optical activity. Similarly, there is another word called as achiral or symmetric. Okay, symmetric, achiral or symmetric. Okay, then what is achiral or symmetric? Okay, in achiral or symmetry, if any carbon is attached to at least two same groups, then such type of carbon is called achiral. And if in any molecule achiral carbons are there, then it is optically inactive. So chirality generally causes optical activeness. Achiral or symmetry generally causes optical. It will not cause optical activity. Okay. Example, let us see. If carbon is containing 4 different groups like this. Okay. It is containing, another example, A, B, C and D like this. Okay. A, B, C and D. 4 different groups. Like example, we will take example CH. Here let us take one CH3. Here let us take one chlorine, and here let us take one CH5. Okay, this carbon is containing one hydrogen, one chlorine, one methyl, one ethyl group. So this is called achiral carbon, asymmetric carbon. And if any carbon contains at least two groups same, means for example, let us take these are two H groups and this is chlorine, this is C2H5. Let us assume like that. Then here this carbon is containing at least two same groups. So this is which one? A chiral carbon. This is a chiral carbon. Okay. So this is chirality. This is a chiral.